All right. Hello, everybody. My name is Noel Andrus. I am an LCSW BACS, Cornerstone Counseling, and I'm here to introduce to you one of the presenters of the amazing presenters that we have coming to Louisiana Body Speak. We just wanted to give you guys an opportunity to get to know the people behind the magic that's going to be happening. And Louisiana Body Speak is going to be hosted at Southeastern Louisiana University, July 17th through the 18th of this year. So if you haven't gotten your passes, please log on to our website, www.cornerstoneofdenhamsprings.com. And we'll put a link in the bottom as well for you guys to get your passes. But today I have something really exciting, and I'm very eager to get to know more of Kezia Vida Kamanetz. She's a PLPC. Absolutely amazing offering that she's bringing to Louisiana Body Speak. And she is going to be working with you all and teaching you a little bit about bringing dreams into sessions. I'm going to read to you guys directly a little bit about her workshop that she's going to be offering to you all. What we have here, and this is directly from the website, so you can go look that up and read more about all of the presenters and the lineup that we have in store for you. Natural dream work, a somatic approach to integrating dreams into therapy. In this presentation, Kezia is going to be providing an introduction to the role of dreams in social and cultural context and the unique opportunities that dreams provide to engage with our clients' somatic and emotional material. So the goal of the session that she's going to be providing to you guys is to empower clinicians to use dream material within a clinical setting. And this is particular when integrating with somatic approaches. I mean, what is more somatic than actually going into that internal world that happens when we're sleeping? And also dreams, at least for me, I know people, my clients that come in, they bring up dreams a lot. I had this dream. And providing, trauma-informed work and reprocessing in the forms of EMDR and IFS. This is part of what I talk to them about. You may notice certain dreams or physical sensations in between sessions within that continued processing. So yeah, it's something that it naturally comes up when we're working with people because it's a natural part of the human process. But this is going to be a hands-on workshop that Kezia is going to be providing to you guys with exercises geared towards allowing you guys who are going to be participating to experience in real time how dream material can help one access embodied and somatic experiences. So this is super exciting. I personally can't wait to sit down and to enjoy this workshop. So I present to you Kezia Vida Kamanetz of Kezia Vida Natural Dreamworks. Like I said, she's a PLPC, and we're just going to get to know her today. Kezia, tell us a little bit about what was your kind of intention and purpose of providing this specific workshop to Louisiana Body Speak? What was your pull into this work? I'm curious.
Oh, well, I mean, with DreamWork in particular, I started working with it through my father. He had a particular dream teacher. He actually wrote a book about him, and I got interested. And so I started working with that same teacher back in 2009. And ever since then, dream work, working with my dreams, working in dream groups, and then eventually working with people one-on-one has been really the focus of my work. And when it comes to the process, I went to complete my counseling degree and pursue licensure in Louisiana. At the core of that really was witnessing so much dramatic transformation happen when I worked focused on people's one-on-one dreams and just knowing how powerful that can be and really wanting that to be available in the mental health settings. I just feel that dreams are so so broad and so exciting in terms of what they're able to provide people. And it really runs the gamut. But I mean, at the core of my intention is just to help people feel comfortable with them, help them feel that it's something that is approachable, something that's manageable, something that they can work with their clients and with themselves. To get those outcomes, whatever it is that they're looking for. And it's really supportive, like you were already saying, to some of those practices that are already out there and building, whether it's EMDR or IFS or even like visionary plant experiences and that kind of thing, dreams really offer an integration opportunity. I mean, something that I always like to say about dreams is like they're so specific to the person. Like, there's no way that a clinician can look at a book or explain something or put something into words or to visual the way a dream can for a client. And so just allowing that space to exist for your clients is so empowering for them because it's so specific to them and they know it's coming from them. And that's something I really love about using them in the clinical setting because I don't have to think about what to talk about. I don't have to think about what to say. I just need to make space for that person to explore, and they will come to that insight themselves and they will feel so much more connected to it because it came from them.
Yes, yes. So like kind of going into this meaning making is what that specific client puts into it. Yeah, and so it's so symbolic. Dreams are so incredibly symbolic sometimes.
Yeah.
And it's not for us to interpret, right? That's the ethical use of this. It's not for us to interpret those dreams that are coming up. And this is something that people can look forward to understanding more of how to ethically use the dreams too in sessions. That is
Yeah.
absolutely brilliant. Yeah. You said something else that came up for me is the symbolism that's in there, what naturally comes up, in dreams. And what it made me think of is that when, whatever we're experiencing, whatever we're going through, whatever's happening in our external world as we're navigating day-to-day life, it's also happening internally. And whatever we're experiencing is going to be amplified in this kind of like altered state, this altered state of consciousness and dreams accessing that subconscious. That's what really comes up for me with what you said. And that's not for us to interpret and using that as material in order to go deeper and beneath the surface. How do you feel about that with, dream work as a form of these altered states and the subconscious working with people?
Yeah, no, I think it's a great way of thinking about it. I think a big part of even just inviting clients to bring dreams in or bringing their attention to them is showing that your clients that you actually care to the reality, the internal reality that they're experiencing, and inviting them to show that same regard for that internal reality that they experience. Because most people are, oh, I don't remember my dreams. Oh, it was nothing. It was nothing. And it's like you saying, no, actually, it was something. Like there's something in there, and I want to know what it is, and I want you to sit with it too, and I want to be in it with you. To me, that is a big part of all of that kind of work, whether in visionary states, right? It's really accessing a different kind of consciousness and being willing to trust that there is some reality to it, and that's like expanding our sense. Like, of course, the material reality is very important, and this is where we operate, and we're earthly beings, and we have to be grounded in that. But we all know that there are many levels of experience that we're having all at the same time. I feel like IFS speaks to that. Like there's different parts. It's not all one unified thing. And being able to open yourself up to that, again, I feel like dreams are just such a beautiful way because they're dream by dream by dream, little by little by little. It's not like you go on some crazy trip and you don't know like who you are or whatever. Like it's got a kind of metered way of bringing you into that. But I think everyone or almost everyone can speak to at least a few dreams in their life that really felt like transformative experiences. They look back at that experience that they had in the dream realm as a marker for their own life. And I think that speaks to the depth that we can get into when we bring that attention there. But I always say like a little is a lot, because this really is a very different way of looking at reality when we really take seriously the fact that this internal world has its own logics, its own experiences, its own desires that may be in conflict or at odds with some of the waking, issues. And we have to learn how to hold that. I mean, one of the biggest things I feel like dreams really bring us to is some of those contradictory places. Because often we want to like put, it's this or it's that. And like in dreams, it's often like a little bit of both, and that's why we
And
always
it
say, like,
changes. Like
yeah,
you said, those significant dreams that stand out and stick with us and they evolve over time.
yeah.
Again, the multiplicity and the complexity of things, slowing down and giving it time.
Yeah, I always tell people like we can have our hour-long session and we can talk about this dream all, and we'll get to the end of our session and be like, wow, we really got that dream. That makes perfect sense. That's exactly it. And then in 2 months, we could have this another hour conversation about the same dream, and it would be a completely different conversation. And we would be like, that was it. That was what the dream was about, And it's like it's happened. It's true. So
And
that
to
is,
embrace that, that
yeah,
giving
yeah.
things the opportunity to evolve.
Yeah, and have, you know, a multiplicity and different faces at different times. And what feels true in the moment will change.
And does.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. That and that leads into where you're talking about like the integrative piece of it, being able to slow down, give it space, and allow the body to really catch up to what the mind is linking to or making connections to.
Hmm.
But yeah, space and time and the importance. I think this whole symposium is going to speak to everyone presenting. And what I feel is going to happen is how very powerful it is to slow down
Yeah.
and be with it, to be with yourself. And let's just see. We may think we know what's going to arise, and even clinicians may sit there and be like, "Oh, I know what this is," but time and time again, it's more oftentimes than not something totally different. And if we jump in and we just make those assumptions or we make those interpretations, we can actually cut off something really, really unique and transformative and powerful for the people that we had the privilege and luxury to sit across from and share
Yeah.
such personal things. Yeah, allowing it time to.
Yeah, it's so true. It's something I think about a lot. There's this woman, Vanessa de Machado, who has a book about hospicing modernity, but she basically talks about urgency, just being a signal that, if you're feeling urgent, you're off from an alignment, and that sense of urgency is external, and it's so true. Like when you're in nature, you can really feel like, I mean, that's that Lao Tzu quote, right? Never, nature never hurries, yet everything is accomplished. But like you really feel how like it's so humanly imposed, these timelines that we create of like we're supposed to figure something out or whatever it is, and that's so alive in dreams. Like when people share their dream, and I'll talk about this in the workshop. They want you to interpret it. They want you to tell you what it means. They want you to figure it out. They want to be able to put a little bow on it, so they don't have to think about it anymore. Because it's bothering them a lot of
And
times.
that's information in itself, right? Like
Yeah.
wanting someone to tell them what it means, like that's really good information too. Yeah.
Yeah. And so you have to, as the person, have to really hold like, oh, we're not doing that here. We're holding space to explore. And at the end of our conversation, we might not have a lot of clarity fully of what everything is, but we would have felt some things. We would have been, in this space that's a private, really vulnerable, deep internal space for you. And that is it itself, you know? And so we really have to make that change. I mean, Freud made the interpretation of dreams. So a lot of people have that in their mind of what's supposed to happen, with dreams is that you're supposed to interpret it and supposed to tell me what it means, and this is really about trying to get people out of that mindset.
Yeah. Absolutely. And what is kind of the definition of anxiety is fear of the unknown.
Hmm.
I don't know. And really leaning into the discomfort of the unknown and again, slowing down and learning how to grow a little bit of tolerance to not knowing sometimes because the only guarantee in life is that there's really no guarantee.
Yeah.
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 So,
And
yeah, wow. Anything else, Kezia, that you want us to know about you or your work or what you do? What feels alive in you and what you love?
yeah, I mean, well, I was I do live at All You Need Institute, which is 111 acres. It's also home to Burrow Nature Center, which is a nonprofit focused on nature-based education. We have programs for kids and adults to learn how to care for the ecosystem around us and really develop that deep relationship with the earth. And maybe it ties into just sort of my other thought with that, which is the other huge thing that I feel like our dreams offer us is the opportunity to really feel the ways in which we are connected internally to a well of support. And so when you're speaking of like anxiety, it's like it's that fear of the unknown, and part of what makes it bearable is knowing that as long as we're alive and we're breathing, we are connected to some larger thing that we can't fully understand. And I don't like to put any dogma or like specific spirituality, like it really is whatever that is for you, and it comes through the dreams. So maybe it's someone who's passed, or there's so many different ways that people can feel that, but it's tangible and it's internal. And of course I feel that, with the earth itself, and that, so finding those connections beyond the human realm, beyond the material realm, that make you feel held and that you are part of something bigger and greater, and that you can trust, life in that way. I feel like it's from that place that we can have real courage. And that's, what we need right now.
100%. Kezia, I've so enjoyed sitting here talking to you, and I hope everyone else has enjoyed listening to what you have to say. And certainly hope that you guys take this opportunity to come learn more about Kezia and witness and observe her workshop alongside all the other amazing presenters that we have coming for Louisiana Body Speak. Kezia, thank you so much for taking time to chat with me today. And
You.
see you soon.
I know. Thank you so much for doing this. I think it's such a great offering for the Gulf South and Louisiana, especially.
Absolutely. Thanks, Kezia.